Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight on this blistering night. At least we have air conditioning, so that's probably why y'all came. Um, Anyway, before we get started, there are two exits in the back of the room. That one goes directly outside. That's the way you came in through the lobby. You can get out if you go through here and go through my office, so hopefully we won't need to make a quick exit. The first thing on our agenda tonight is a representation of something that we saw some months ago, probably now, of a proposal for an overlay district on the State Farm PDD. So we have Scott Lansing from Lansing Engineering, and we have John Rosenblum. And
Okay, good evening, Scott Lansing with Lansing Engineering, representing the State Farm PDD. This is a request for a rezone to add the C2 and Route 67 overlay on top of the existing PDD that is a part of the parcel. So just background, existing conditions, we are located in the southwest corner of the exit 12 corridor. So we have Route 87 in this vicinity, and then we have Route 67 along this corridor. I think everybody's pretty familiar with the State Farm PDD, which is the State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company Plan Development District. I'll just refer to it as State Farm PDD just to keep things simple. So overall, the parcel is approximately 185.63 acres. That is the overall area in yellow. There are existing commercial offices located throughout the PDD, the larger building in this vicinity, a smaller one here, and then a much smaller one in this vicinity. And then we have the hotel in the upper right-hand corner of the parcel. Also, as a part of the original PDD, is a parcel in this vicinity. That's the current Mohawk Chevrolet Recon Center, which actually went through the exact same process that we're asking for this evening. So they also went in for an overlay of the C2 zoning over the top of the PDD, and that something that is similar and was granted by this town board back a while ago. As far as the roadways in the parcel, all the roadways have been completed. All the traffic improvements associated with the original PDD, which does include a roundabout, also an intersection over on the western side. So everything from as far as improvements at that original PDD we're supposed to have completed have been included. And last but not least, the parcel is served by public water and public sewer. As far as surrounding uses to the south, we have some vacant land. To the west, we have a single family a residential neighborhood. To the north, we have the Malta Emergent Care. We have the Baptist Church. We have the pet facility. I'm sorry, the veterinarian facility, and then some vacant lands as well. Then obviously we have Route 87 off to the eastern side of the project. What we are proposing is the rezoning of 25 State Farm Place, which is the parcel on the west, this one, and then 40 State Farm Place, which is the one on the east in this area. We are proposing basically to take the zoning that's in the area, which is the C2 and the Route 67 West overlay, put it over the top of the PDD. So the vast majority of this corridor is already zoned C2, Route 67 West overlay. Just asking to add that on to these two parcels. And we feel this is consistent with the commercial corridor of the Route 67 area, obviously with the existing zoning in that area, existing developments in that area. That is consistent with the zoning in that area, what is there and what is to be in that area. And also it is consistent with the 2023 Comprehensive Master Plan, which encourages commercial growth along state highways. So this is obviously a state highway. We have 87 on one side, Route 67 on the other side. Seems like very logical for commercial growth to be encouraged in that area. By adding this overlay on top of the PDD, obviously it allows the applicant opportunities to market and develop this parcel with additional uses, again, consistent with the C2 and the town's vision for these different zoning areas. What is being contemplated at this time, this is a plan that was put together by C2 Design. This is a business suite concept for 40 State Farm Place. So individual units with office and small warehouse type of uses for those structures. And these are some renderings, conceptual renderings that were put together for this particular product that the applicant would like to pursue. So this is from the northwest looking southeast into the project. And then this is from the southeast. Oh no, this is also the same view, just more of an elevated view. So that is essentially it. We're here for questions and comments from the board and to ask the board's consideration to advance this request for the rezoning. Thank you very much.
Just a couple of things that I'll add. I mean, one of the reasons for this request is the PDD basically specifies that it's basically offices that
Correct.
can be built there. And times have changed, and people necessarily don't want offices, so it's really not marketable for that. This original request was presented to us on February 6th of 2025 as a complete application, it has seeker determination and everything. So it basically predates the enactment of the moratorium. It also is a consideration that we had discussed during the workshops for the, as a result of the moratorium, and it was a change that we're actually recommending, that we agreed to recommend as a change in the zoning. Like I say, it's, something we saw before, and Mr. Rosenblum wanted to represent it and see if there was any movement by
Can
the
you
board.
remind me who maintains the roads or will maintain them if this is built?
The roads are private. They're not
Private?
town roads.
State Farm Place is a private road.
Okay, thank you.
What's the anticipated traffic study and increase? This
Yeah, for the business suites, well, let me back up. Originally, it was anticipated as office use. Office uses tend to have higher trip generation. People coming in the morning, leaving during the morning peak hour, leaving in the evening on the PM peak hour. With the business suite concept, I do have firsthand knowledge. There's a project in Stillwater that was reviewed and approved about 2 years ago. That's up and constructed and just about fully occupied. And the number of trips out of that type of facility are very, very low, and they're actually spread out over the day as opposed to everybody coming in the morning and leaving in the evening. So as far as the original traffic study that was done as a part of the State Farm PDD as office compared to the use that we are proposing, trips will be much, much, much less than were originally anticipated. So we'd see a decrease in traffic for this particular concept.
because 67 during the early morning and early evening hours, just horrendous.
Yes, yeah. Another good thing that the site has going forward is it is very close to I-87 has roundabouts, which in my opinion are very efficient. I know people have different opinions on roundabouts, but I think they're very efficient, and chances are a lot of the trips will be coming directly from the Northway to the site back to the Northway. So hopefully there won't be that much of an impact from the few trips that it does have.
So if they entered in here, they're coming in off of the roundabout and in from the side, is it? Or-
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Basically around the roundabout south, and then in on this leg.
That would help too.
Yes.
One of the concerns last time we saw this was residential. They're not proposing any residential uses. It also, one of the things that we will change as part of the moratorium rezoning is to redefine mixed use to say commercial only, not residential. So that, would effectively eliminate residential. But for now, he's not proposing any residential at all. So,
Could you show me again where the existing residential?
Yes, let me back up. So this is the overall boundaries. These are the two parcels that we're asking the overlay to be added, and then the residential is off towards the west.
Are there likely to be any lighting issues that might disturb neighbors?
No. First off, all the light fixtures would be downward facing. We would not have any light spillage, and that is a town code that we cannot have any light spillage off of our property. And then just the sheer distance to those residences, no light impacts at all.
Thank you.
and that's pretty heavily wooded too, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah. There's an area in between this area. I believe there are wetlands in this. I'd have to double check on that, but I believe there are wetlands, so I don't foresee that ever being cleared for any sort of a line of sight.
the lighting of Mohawk Chevy is far more dramatic.
Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Or west is closer to residential.
Yeah, Mohawk Chevrolet is, it's not shown in this aerial, but I did fail to mention that in the beginning, that Mohawk Chevrolet is on that parcel right there.
I have seen the site that you referenced in Stillwater.
Yes.
It's really not much to look at. Do you anticipate for the intended use that what the employee count would be? And would they typically be Malta or area residents, or would they be commuting in and out for the type of businesses? you're
Yeah,
anticipating?
I don't know that particular facility in Stillwater that has residences from, or I'm sorry, occupants from all different areas, or not necessarily just Stillwater or that specific area. But, so I would imagine there are different businesses that do different things, and they probably pull people from different areas. I don't know if it would be Malta-only residents.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Al?
Yeah, I remember talking about this at the workshop, and it was a go at that time. Doesn't look like nothing's changed. Put it with the stack, and we'll sign it with the rest when we do the others for the rezoning, whenever that may be.
So you don't propose moving forward with it outside of the rezoning?
Isn't that the question in front of us?
They want to move this forward now, not wait for the end of the moratorium, is what they're asking.
I said we change the zoning first.
Okay.
Doesn't that happen first?
It,
I'm all for
it,
doing it.
it
I'm all
can,
for the project, but let's not break what we got for zoning and jump over the fence. Jump over the fence before we, I'm all for it. Let's just change the zoning. We got a stack of other zoning things that we're gonna do. We talked about it. Let's go. It's a good project. I'm in. But we're not gonna cut ahead of the line until we change the zoning, which is, you wanna do a single resolution for that instead of waiting with all the other ones? I'm all for it.
Yeah, wasn't this prior to the moratorium, though?
it was.
So technically, it could be acted upon prior to.
Technically, it could be acted upon.
Yeah, I think the applicant would like to request that the board consider it prior to the rezoning. Reason being is he could then go out and start to market the parcel as a C2. Whatever happens during the moratorium, whatever adjustments are made to the C2 zoning would obviously follow suit with this, and then the applicant would have to adhere to that when we get to that point. So we didn't see necessarily a harm in approving it now, other than it does give the applicant the ability to
Well,
move forward.
if it's, the application's in before the moratorium, that's all moot. And so we either follow the procedures and change the zoning first, so you can continue, is the right thing that we should do first, my opinion.
So,
And then it's a go. Go, baby, go.
correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, the process would be, we would have to have a resolution to refer the zoning change to Saratoga County Planning, set a public hearing,
Yeah, I mean, I think
hearing.
the board would want to review the complete application, get input from your planning staff on advice with respect to that. If you're satisfied with the proposed changes to the zoning and want to proceed, you'd refer it to county, have a public hearing, and complete your seeker process, and then adopt a local law that would be a zoning amendment that pursuant to our moratorium would not, you would be exempt from that, and this could proceed. But that's going to still require the normal zoning update process.
How long would that take, Steve?
Well, the public hearing is, based on our schedule and the referral to the county, you typically need to give them 30 days to respond. They can run simultaneous those time periods. I don't think there's major seeker-related issues with respect to this type of zoning request, so I don't see a major delay there. But, you're gonna have, depending on the board's availability and scheduling and satisfactory review of the full application, not just this presentation, that would be your steps, is to set a public hearing, refer it to the county, complete those two tasks. Sometimes it's one hearing, so you have one date, and then decide to adopt the change.
Yeah, I don't see no big stampede stopping it, but, we set a moratorium for this exact reason of not following a direct path, a written path, and jumping around and exceptions and stuff like that. So it's a perfect example, if you ask me. But thanks for that explanation, Steve. That's all I got.
So just to be clear, are you saying you'd like to proceed with setting the public hearing and referring?
I'd like to know what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Do we have to rezone first?
It's a
We have-
legis,
In order for him to market it, we have to rezone this.
Well, let's rezone first. You're gonna get a yes out of me. Let's do the paperwork, do the hearing and go.
Okay.
I mean, we'll all be all right in a month or two, right? All right, let's just do it. Let's just follow procedures and do it.
What's the schedule for listing the moratorium?
Yes.
That's later in the agenda,
Okay.
so we'll
I'm all for the
where
project,
we are. So,
but you're
oh
looking
wait,
for a
let's
zone
just be
change.
clear, there
change.
is no project, okay?
yeah,
They're just talking about a zoning change.
Right.
And
All right, let's stick
they're
even.
just so we're clear, board members, what they're presenting here may not be the project. It could be any of those uses in C2.
Exactly. So let's just
So-
do zoning change. Let's just follow the procedures and we're good.
did,
So this complete application was done when?
we had it on February 6th is the date of,
And what do you call a completed application? Planning?
Planning department, are you asking me or you?
I'm asking planning.
They filled out an application, they wrote a draft law, they gave us maps that you see up there, and they paid a fee.
and it's,
And they're asking for a zoning change with the moratorium that's on, but with their application ahead of time, right?
Correct.
and they gave us a full EAF, so I have that here.
The problem is the actual project. I'm a little concerned about the zoning change and the process we have to go through during the moratorium. And other applicants have pretty much sent in their applications, their fee. I'm being told it was a complete application. And it doesn't even following our zoning code that's out there. My suggestion on that is we change the zoning ahead of time before we proceed. I like the project. I don't have any. My concern is I don't want to start setting up precedents with all these other 20 applications that don't even meet our present zone code. And that's the situation we have here, and I think there's others that are also, that are huge impact. I'm talking 710 apartments right at exit 12, that I'm told that is a complete application when other developers are having to put in much more info. I'm very concerned about setting the path going forward. For you, we're gonna have to do
Well,
it.
Craig, I think we just said we're not. The precedence is that we're going to do it right and proper.
But this is my feeling on it.
Okay.
We will set a bad precedence.
What, doing it properly? We're not approving them not to do it properly. We want them to do,
Give the zoning change within our moratorium.
moratorium has nothing to do with, the moratorium has nothing to do with this project that's been ongoing.
Which is separate from his application.
Zoning the moratorium was for building, not for changing zoning.
Hey, Craig, yeah, just to clarify, there's not an application for any development at this time.
He's requesting a
He's
zoning change.
requesting that we change the zone. He submitted that application in February. It's a legislative action of the board, so it's your discretion whether you would proceed. If there was no moratorium, you're not obligated to proceed. We had a couple other workshops or information settings like that. But this project, there's no pending application to build or do anything. They're just looking to get the zoning changed now. If they didn't have a completed application, they wouldn't be allowed to proceed with that because of the moratorium. So the actual project will still go through the process and will need to comply with whatever zoning we adopt. So,
And at this point, he can't proceed with a project because he has not made an application for a project.
right,
And so that project will be subject to the moratorium.
I understand we can submit anything for
Can't even submit anything.
until the moratorium is
Right,
resolved.
right.
This is strictly.
A zoning change.
So that the zoning is changed so that we can market the property,
right.
in confidence without saying, well, yeah, we think we're.
Listen, you ain't the only one. We got a whole thing that we did a whole bunch of workshops that we're changing zoning that we're gonna vote on.
Right, that's occurring and changes to C2 and otherwise may impact any ultimate project. There's a risk to the applicant because if they proceed with this and we change the local law and now you change C2 in a way that they didn't contemplate, they may not be able to do the project that they put before because there is no project now. This is just a rendering of what they think they're gonna be able to sell and what they want to be able to sell, which is expanded beyond the PDD. The PDD allows offices. This is commercial, different type of space. If you don't think it's a good change of the zone, that didn't come up in any of the workshops per se. That wasn't the issue. Their application was complete. You have the full, according to our planning department and my review back in February. I haven't looked at it since, but the local law was provided, seeker was provided, the fee was paid, and the application was complete and received February, which was several months before a moratorium. We've taken no action on it. So the applicant's saying, it's been a while, guys. Are you willing to proceed with the zoning change? You're allowed to. And that's where we're at.
And it is a change that in our previous conversations, we were going to recommend as a change when we do the overall rezoning of the entire chapter.
Wasn't it?
Yes,
Therefore, I had no problem with it.
okay. Okay. Any other comments? So it sounds like, we'll set the ball in motion.
Yeah, I mean, at your next meeting, if you're so inclined, if planning's reviewed it and can give recommendations to the board, I mean, sometimes there's changes, there's things that the board or planning may recommend that would prevent us from referring it to the county. If that isn't the case, at the next meeting, you could refer it to the county, potentially have a public hearing at the end of August
Yep.
and adopt in
in the
early
beginning of
September.
September, so. All right, well, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you
There's
very
no more
much.
comments from the board, so. Let them get away, but next up on our agenda, we'll start our regular meeting with a salute to the flag and a brief moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. I will entertain a motion to accept the town clerk's minutes from our July 7th meeting.
So move.
Any discussion?
improve safety. One thing that's happened recently that's very disturbing is the advent and arrival of many e-bikes. I'm counting about a dozen new e-bikes traveling everywhere. A lot of kids, no helmets for the most part, and 3 unregistered golf carts and 1 registered golf cart between Travers Meadows and High Point. I would like to request perhaps some increased enforcement by the law enforcement folks, because a couple of kids pulled up onto my driveway the other day and asked if I had any work for them. And I asked them how old he was, and they were 12 and 11. And I said, do you have a driver's license? Double question. No. Is this vehicle registered? No. And I said, well, you should go home and tell your dad that you guys are breaking the law. And if you get caught, you can get tickets.
Okay, is that true with e-bikes?
E-bikes cannot be, as I understand it, cannot be ridden on sidewalks or trails. They can be ridden on highways as long as the speed limit is 30 miles an hour or less. That's the way I read the state law. Now, Malta could, if it is not prohibited in a town, unless it's permitted in a town, you cannot use an e-bike on a sidewalk. And they do tear up our trails. So we're not in favor of having them ride the sidewalks.
Plus, the other thing is, can you make a golf cart street legal?
Yes,
Really?
yes, there is one in Travers Meadows. It's owned by a retired deputy sheriff. And he has lights, brakes, inspection, insurance. None of these kids are insured, and that's just a nightmare waiting to happen. I'm not sure who's responsible. One kid backed right out in front of a car the other day and didn't look. They don't have any driver training, so increased enforcement, please. The things that I found out for approval of sign plans, and I have submitted one that you folks have for High Point, is stop signs and pedestrian crossing signs are something that can be placed anywhere that the town approves without DOT review, as long as it's not at a state road intersection. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be reviewed. And the DOT said they would happily review any plan we send them.
Can you say that one more time, what you just said?
Which one?
The one, right there at the end about placing a sign.
You can place a sign anywhere that the town board approves, except without state DOT review, except at intersections with state highways.
What kind of sign? Any sign?
Stop
Stop
sign.
signs.
Oh, stop sign.
Stop signs.
I'm
Now,
also
go ahead.
told that you have to have a crosswalk at the stop sign, because the stop sign cannot be used to control traffic.
It's not, well, it is to provide safety.
Speeding because of pedestrian issues.
Say that last part again. Is the speed limit sign?
The stop signs cannot be placed with the intent of slowing down traffic for people walking in the area. It has to be reviewed by our town traffic engineer.
Actually, DOT will do that without you spending thousands of dollars on a town engineer.
Yeah, I did see the correspondence from Cliff from the DOT that says that they will review it.
Usually,
At no charge. I mean, if you pay your engineer, you're gonna pay him several $1,000s. I did this pro bono.
we did.
It actually looks like what you're proposing for the stop signs, because I did get it today, take some time. Eventually, we'll put this on the agenda for all of us to actually look at and review, is, it looks like you're basically just proposing all-way stops at 6 intersections: Bayberry Rock Rose, Twin Flower Rock Rose, Thistle Rock Rose, Kramer Rock Rose, Lupine Twin Flower, and Thistle Twin Flower. Those are the changes.
Yes.
So,
Those are endorsed
They're-
by our law
Right.
enforcement folks that went over it with me.
and though each of those intersections already has a stop sign someplace.
Right.
You're just proposing they be always stop.
Right.
So, and, you know, again, I think it's something that we were unprepared to
Yes.
have it on the agenda for tonight,
I
but
understand.
I will put it on for the end of August.
But
and
I'd like
we
to
can
add
talk
that
about it
High
more.
Point will help defray the cost of
Yeah.
the signs if it gets
Yeah.
approved.
I don't know that we
And-
need that, but
Yeah, for speed limits, I think we just,
the speed limit's a little different because you want an area speed limit.
well, that's it. Area speed limits are, I just talked to one of our judges, really not enforceable because, well, where did the area stop? 10 feet past
Yeah,
the sign?
right.
Or a quarter mile?
Right.
That's why the linear speed limits, which don't need approval from DOT, can be placed anywhere. And we've already got those strategically located.
I just
We-
want to be clear, you just can't place your signs anywhere.
Right.
Right.
You know that.
Right.
You're going to need an engineering study. Whether you're going to go to DOT for your stop signs and your other signs, or whether you're going to engage your town engineer, we can't do it without engineering.
We
The
did,
same is going to be true for speed limits. It's just the process in which you just choose to go through.
we
No,
did,
that's not true for speed limits. The
we-
law allows
if-
towns to set speed limits down to 25 miles an hour.
And they need to have a basis for setting that.
if I can, just
Yep.
for a second, just to stop this. We've had several neighborhoods come to us and ask for lowered speed limits. And the last time we discussed actually appropriating money in the 2026 budget to study this. So the speed limit stuff is not going to change and without an engineering,
Yeah.
evaluation.
Yeah. One thing that's interesting for the board is that there were traffic studies for Travers Meadows, High Point, and Malta Springs. None of them recommended a speed limit at all, except Malta Springs, which recommended 35 miles per hour, and they have 25 mile per hour stop signs. So there's absolutely no basis anywhere for 25 mile an hour speed limits, but the law allows the town to simply make that decree as they have in Albany, Schenectady, city of Saratoga, everywhere you go now, 25 miles an hour everywhere, just for safety.
Well, again, like I say, we plan to take that up with our budget next year, so.
Okay,
Let's,
any other questions?
yeah, I got to catch up. You said you submitted a request for this in writing?
To us,
No, I submitted a plan.
a plan.
A plan?
And I have that here, but we
With it-
didn't get it until late this afternoon, so
Yeah.
I was gonna wait and put it
Okay.
on next time,
Yeah, and that's fine.
so.
We're just anxious to see this move forward because several people have said what Steve is saying, you need an engineering study. In fact, DOT will just review the plan.
Okay, because I look at a map and I see a plan, but when you said you've done, maybe help me out, help me to help you. All right, you said you did some research, right? Can you reference in the MUCA, the manual, where it says that, paragraph and line, where it says you don't need DOT approval for,
Yeah,
From DOT,
okay,
Region 1.
an email?
Yes,
Is it referencing anything from a statute?
yes.
yes.
Okay,
And
I'd like to see that eventually.
I'll make sure
I
everybody gets
appreciate
all of that. Yep,
the reference to help
Yeah.
me help.
Hey, Al, and when you're getting that, just also get the clarification from DOT from their prior rulings that they don't want to review your town speed limits, and once you decide to change them, you're on the hook for changing all the future ones too.
I think we're already down that path, right?
Well, we
we do that with
didn't-
Miller?
We didn't do that.
we have not done that
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't done it yet, and that's one of the reasons we didn't. So there's more than, there was a recent law that was adopted in May of
You
2025.
know, I'm with you on this.
Allows us to do that, but we would want clarification from DOT that they'll, if we reduce roads to 25 and other roads that we want to reduce later to another layer, that they will still review those for us and not say that we've basically preempted them and taken over the field.
And that's a good
They're right,
question back to
there's
DOT.
work to be done, so thank you, Cliff.
All I could say, it reads easy, but he'll tell you it ain't that easy.
Oh, no, and I was just talking about how you can go blind reading this stuff.
Yep, thank you, Cliff.
You're welcome, thank you.
Any other public comment this evening? You'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting, so if you stick around. Comments from town board members and department heads. I have a couple of things here. First, the New York State passed legislation that requires all municipalities to maintain a .gov domain, We are a .org right now, so as of August 15th, our new website will be townofmaltanewyork.gov. All of our emails will change also, but for the foreseeable future, if you go to the malta-town.org website, it will automatically redirect you to townofmaltanewyork.gov. Our employees and staff all got, information about that today, so it should be hopefully a seamless transition. You won't even notice. Another thing I want to talk about is as you know, we are coming up on the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War, and Saratoga County was instrumental in that. We're widely considered the turning point of the war because of the battles of Saratoga. So in an effort to celebrate that, Saratoga County has bought flags that honor the 250. I have one there for display. If Vanna White wants to hold it up. Yeah. We have 10 of them. I was seeking the consent of the board to alternate those on Dunning with the American flags. So right now, it's all American flags to replace, 10 of them with alternating for America's Turning Point. So, anybody have any objection to that? Okay, great. Court roof and windows have been replaced, so they should be warmer, toastier in there this winter. Then we got one more concert coming up. That is Mark Gams Jaeger and the Luster Kings. That is Wednesday night at the community center, and then after that, there's a kids concert. I can't remember who that is. Mr. Twisty, children. And the last of my comments, but certainly not least, we have another member of the town family that appeared on the Malta Neighbors. That's Barb Mazurek, our youth director. She's been an employee of the town of Malta for 30 years, 25 years, maybe longer, I don't know, but there's a really nice article about her here, so congratulate her. The Barb Mazurek. That's what I have. Anybody else?
All right, I just don't want to make sure the E-riders get a bad name. I'm on Zim Smith Trail all the time, which is very well kept, very well maintained, and a great resource for this town to enjoy the outdoors is that trail. And I really mean it because I'm on it a lot. And our e-bicycle guys, they're pretty courteous over there too, so no ruffians yet or anything like that. But I just want to give them a shout out. How's that, Cynthia? That's my shout out. That's all I got.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I am requesting from our planning department to get an update on the filings of applications before the moratorium started.
Well,
When I'm-
the last report from the planning staff, monthly report, had an entire list of all of the applications that have come in.
My concern is the 700 and plus apartments that have been applied for at the old Saratoga outlets going forward. Is that a complete application?
As I mentioned in an email that I wrote to you,
Right,
conceptual application in the form-based code.
right,
It's in very, very beginning stages.
right.
9 times out of 10, engineers and owners will throw everything in there but the kitchen sink to get an initial reaction from planning staff, how it meshes with the code, what problems we might foresee with infrastructure, and all kinds of things. So that is just the very, very
My interest in that is, I'm very interested in the quantity that is actually allowed today in the 710 apartments, I am sure, is not allowed in our form-based code.
Well, one thing was we effectively
Excuse me?
decreased them by 20% when we
That's
Rescinded
the
the
issue.
senior.
That's my issue.
And that project, from my understanding, is a long ways from being an actual project. It's a conceptual thing. I think Floria's already done it, the once over and made some suggestions. It's back in their hands.
And I would like to
It'll
see
go-
that update.
It'll go back and forth, I think, probably 4 or 5 times before we actually have any project. And it could be 5 years before there's actually a project. Before.
Actually, I'm being told that the owner does not even want to do it. He's trying to sell that project plan. So I'm watching it very closely. And I think residents here are watching it very closely too. Very concerning to me.
Those discussions also are ones we'll have in future workshops for the moratorium, so. Anything else, anybody?
Yes.
Barb?
Quick question. Could you please remind me of the date of the Malta event that we usually have at the playground on, pardon me?
Malta Community Day,
Yes,
September 6th.
September 6th.
It's the Saturday after Labor Day.
And for folks who hope to have a booth there, they see you, is that correct, Mrs. Cotton?
They have applications, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you. It's coming up fast.
yeah. Anything else? If that not, we'll move on to our action items. Tonight, we have actually 3. I'm adding one as action, but we'll get to that when we get there. The first is the Town of Half Moon is applying for a grant to buy a vacuum truck. Sucks out, catch basins, and there are a lot of uses that we could use. Water says they can use it. This grant that they're applying for requires that they have intermunicipal cooperation, so they're going to lend it to us. They'll share it with us. They have asked that we basically sign a mutual aid and assistance agreement. It's been reviewed by our town attorney, so this resolution is authorizing me to enter into this mutual aid and assistance agreement with the town of Half Moon. Can I have a motion?
You need a motion now.
Yes.
So moved.
Second?
Second, discussion.
All right. Again, I'm slow to catch up. Half Moon's buying a truck?
Well, they're applying for a grant to buy a truck.
What's it gonna cost the town of Malta?
Nothing,
All right.
0. Roger supports this also, so,
Answer my question. I'm all a go.
okay. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have budget transfers that, this budget transfer is $2,750 because earlier we authorized Melissa Briggs to participate in the Leadership Saratoga program. She was accepted. Congratulations, Melissa. So this is a budget transfer to pay for that.
So move.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That carries. What I've moved up from the number 12 is the grant application regarding a highway department salt shed. That application is actually due on Thursday, July 31st. So I moved it up as a resolution to authorize that application. It is a New York State grant that requires a 25% match from the town of Malta. The anticipated cost of that salt shed is $600,000, but our match can also be an in-kind match. And so Roger is proposing that his 25% will be work that will be done by our own highway staff. So it won't be, in theory, money out of our pockets, other than we got to pay our guys, but. So I'm looking for authorization from this board to
So move.
execute the application. Any further discussion?
Yes, how'd you come up with the $600,000?
Our-
Is there a quote on that? did you,
Again, it's an application for a grant, and yes, Roger or Rick, I don't know who, got an estimate about what it might cost to build a salt shed. So,
because the last time we went through this, it was considerably higher, I thought. Roger?
I don't know.
Wasn't it? From that group out of,
This is the same people.
it's the same group? I thought it was a lot higher. I thought it was 800 grand.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, well, it carries. Anyway, so that takes item 12 off the later agenda. All right, we'll move on to discussion items. First one is change order number 2, Maltaville Water. You will recall that our contractor encountered a subsurface condition that was not identified in the bid documents. And we agreed on a price of $292 per linear foot for this cobble. Well and good, they did it, it took faster, so we're kind of trying to renegotiate with them that price. We haven't really gotten anywhere with that yet, but in the meantime, they encountered shallow bedrock on Maltaville Road near Goldfoot. Engineering got permission from the Saratoga County, because Maltaville Road is a county road, to do that section by open cut. And that will require a change order, so we are now in discussions with our contractor and our engineer to try to come up with a comprehensive plan for what we should pay for both of those now. One of the things is, this project is on a very, very, very tight budget, so there's not a lot of extra money in it to have. So basically, tonight, I'm just informing the board, because we don't really have any resolution, we're still talking to.
What was the balance that was from the first dig? You said it went fast, I'm not trying to hold you to the number, just round me up.
The original change that we agreed on with them was going to be,
It's like a couple 100,000, wasn't it?
no, it was 68,000
Oh,
maybe. Was the change order. And with that, we were using the $50,000 allowance we had. She redid some engineering, but we had agreed on a $292 per linear foot. And then our engineer, as I say, reported that it was a lot faster. They went ahead and did the work before we actually
Yeah,
authorized the change.
I got that.
So-
So the work is done. It
That
was a
work
lot
is done.
faster, and we are estimating that we should probably owed some money back.
Well, we haven't paid them for that section yet.
All right,
We're
so-
kind of trying to renegotiate.
We're
it.
fine then.
It's to be fair, the contractor also says there's some dispute between our engineer and the contractor as to exactly how much time the contractor spent doing that
Yeah,
bore.
and the
so-
deference should go to us since they went ahead with the project without a go-ahead from us. So that's just problematic.
It was kind of a misunderstanding. They thought they had it because we discussed it, but we hadn't actually signed it. So anyway, like I say, more of that. I would really like to have this wrapped up so we can have something for next week, but no promises. We'll see. So that's on that. Well, yeah, that's disputed, so the engineer won't approve that section until we come to a. Okay, so next, you'll recall that at our last meeting, we waived the fees for, Stillwater owes us some money. There was $38,314 in our contract with them, our intermunicipal agreement with them to provide water to 144 parcels in their, that are in Stillwater. This is all part of Malta Water District Number 1, just laying it out there for those of you that may not know all this. They hadn't paid us, and they owed us the money. Our contract with them had some really hefty late fees. And when we actually closed on the water system, there were a lot of moving parts. It was, it's not really totally their fault that they didn't have the money to pay us, but we agreed to give them 30 days to waive the fees. Steve and our town attorney and our comptroller met with their supervisor and their town attorney, and they are asking that we extend that to September 1st. Our bond payment is due on September 15th. Our comptroller and our town attorney and myself recommend that we honor that. They also have several changes they want to the intermunicipal agreement. Mostly it's time changes that, again, our town attorney and our comptroller don't disagree with. So Steve is working on rewriting that intermunicipal agreement to accommodate their changes. So I'm requesting that we allow Stillwater till September 1st to pay us the
Question.
$38,314.
Had they agreed to have it paid by September
Yes.
1st?
Yes, they agreed to have this paid in full by September 1st.
Because the last I talked to Eddie, that was going to be really, really hard for
Well,
him.
they-
But he must have found the
Right, they
funds
They
somehow.
agreed that they would have us paid by then.
Oh, that's a very loosely agreed, because they agreed in the first place to pay us back 30 days ago.
Well, they didn't agree 30 days
They signed a
ago.
contract, right? for
Yeah, they
late
signed a
fees and not
contract to pay
paying,
us in
right?
December.
And like I said, it's a neighboring
When
municipality.
is the next full contract up with them? Is that a yearly basis, or is that like, how's that work?
Well, the second piece of that is they want to amend the agreement, so to not be in this position in the future, and they'll be able to collect the taxes as part of the tax bill, not on a retroactive basis, but on a going forward basis.
Part
So,
of
So
the
we got,
problem was
it sounds like you got a solution.
yeah, we got a solution for
That's
the
all we
current
need.
year and a solution going forward, so we don't have to come back to this.
Part of the problem was they had not formed a district in a timely fashion, so they couldn't levy that payment to their taxes.
I agree with the first part, why it happened and stuff. I just, going forward,
Yeah.
how do we resolve this from every year saying, we're gonna pay somebody else's bill first before ours,
Yeah,
so.
well, we should be good, based on the changes that we're making with the agreement. So we'll have that resolution next week. Another resolution, every year, the Roundabout Runners Club hosts the Malta 5K. Yeah, same day as Community Day. They have gotten the authorization from the county to close the roads. It happens in the tech park. And so they want a resolution from the town of Malta to authorize that they can actually hold the race. And they also temporarily want to replace the flags, very same flags that I'm talking about replacing on Dunning with banners for the race. Yeah, the race, for anybody that knows, it's well-attended, and all of the proceeds from the race go to first responders, to our 2 fire companies, our Malta Stillwater EMS, and veterans. So,
Are you asking for a motion tonight?
no, it'll be next week. So I'm assuming we'll be okay there. Another resolution that we will have next week is to hire a trainee due to an upcoming leave of absence. We have somebody in the comptroller's office that will be on maternity leave. And the way the timing is, it's end of year. And so our comptroller is concerned because, of course, the end of year is extremely busy. So she wants to hire someone a little bit earlier to be able to train them in this person's job, and then she'll fill in for the maternity leave. So we'll have a resolution about that. The next thing that, I don't know if you took the time to review it, we have lots of keys and keys and keys. And we have no policy, we don't know who has what keys out there. Some keys, we don't know what they go to. So we are proposing that we establish a key and key fob policy so that, first of all, only limited people can actually make keys. So you can't, Jen can't go out and decide she's gonna make 3 keys for all her people. It would have to go through a process. So Melissa did put together a policy that you all should have had a chance to be able to review. Steve reviewed it and says it's good. I reviewed it. I like it. So if next week, if we can adopt this policy, we'll then start inventorying everybody's keys. So she'll have everybody come in. We'll see what keys they have on their key ring. And then from then on, we'll, keys will actually be issued with a more formal process. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, look it over next week. Like I say, that'll be a resolution that I hope we act on next week. If you have any changes or comments about anything that you want to talk about, let me know. Next is a request to change the policy to allow retirees to have a Medicare plan other than CDPHP. We had a request from a former employee who moved out of the area, and she would like to have a Medicare Advantage plan that is not one that is supported by the town of Malta at this time. We kicked this around a lot with the comptroller. The problem with it is, one employee is one thing, but we could conceivably then have every retiree decide they want to have a different plan, and all of that would have to be managed in-house. Right now, it's managed by our insurer, Marshall and Sterling, but they won't do that. So what we kind of talked about is, what our comptroller is recommending is that we give a payment in lieu of. So if someone wants to choose another plan, they'll get a buyout, so to speak. It's kind of sort of like what we do with employees. Like if we have employees that don't take our health insurance, they get a payment in lieu of the health insurance. So that's kind of what she's proposing. I wanted to swing that, we didn't really come up with a number.
Is that a one-time payment or?
No, it would be annual.
That keep on coming to the bank?
It would be annual.
And those people that you were worried about all switching plans, is that a one-time payment to those people?
No, there are certain retirees that, when there's a lot of them, that we actually pay their Medicare Advantage plans all the
No,
time.
what you were worried about
Well, they
could
all
be
are,
used the other way too, if we do single payments.
they're all on CDPHP. All it would be is another one. So if it was, say this person wants just a totally different plan on CDPHP, it would be, so right now, we pay CDPHP for those employees and manage it that way. But
Through a third party.
through a third party, and the third party takes care of it.
So
If
we're probably not skilled at, doing a lot of medical payments to people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Why are we paying a third party, right?
Well, because they manage all of our insurance needs, our health insurance needs, our benefits. But if we start going out and allowing people to get different plans besides CDPHP, we then would have to pay this company this and this company this and that. And there's a lot of them. So, we thought this would come up as an equitable thing, that employee can then pick whatever plan she wants, and then she'll get reimbursed for that. So from our standpoint, it's just writing another check to an employee. Former.
Don't say "are," because I'm not for it. Or it might be you, but not me.
Actually, I am favoring that lump sum. That's the same thing that
Yeah.
several others have also. My concern is that as the employees age out, they shouldn't be obligated to stay in the area
Right.
here. So,
And that's the problem. CDPHP is very locally. They're not in-network, doctors elsewhere, even in the state of New York. So it does get to be problematic.
Yes, subsidizing people's medical insurance on an individual basis concerns me highly.
Well, we contractually are obligated to pay these people at this time. We,
Pay individuals, yes, I know what
Yeah.
you're saying, but that concerns me. If you got a group or a townwide policy, that's one thing. But who knocks on the door, who gets paid, that concerns me.
It's all based on, well, but when they were hired, how they were hired. It's, it was an arrangement between,
Yeah,
and some of long-term employees that retired from the town of Malta have a better benefit than, like now, a lot of employees pay 10% of their health insurance, retirees. I think newer retirees will pay a greater part of their. You can talk to Julia if you have any more.
I'm following up to the story that someone's here knocking at the door, and everybody else is gonna have a different story, and I understand that. But someone's knocking on the door saying he wanted to get subsidized, and then someone's gonna have a different story come up and say, I'm getting subsidized.
No.
So once we start going down that path, if, we gotta be articulate in how when we hire people, what our plan is. I know what retirement system I'm getting. I ain't getting anything more or less than what's in the retirement system that I said yes to.
Well, she's entitled to the CDPHP plan, and she's entitled for us to pay for that.
Again, you're confusing me. All I know, we're asking to pay someone an individual check worries me.
So Cynthia, would the fee be equal to what the employee would have received with CDPHP as a premium?
That's undetermined at this point. Like I said, we wanted to see if there was, if there was, agreement among the board to replace what is a benefit that
Right.
she is
If it was
eligible
limited
for, entitled to.
If it was limited to what they get under the CDPHP?
Listen,
It would not be, it would not be more than
Right.
what she's entitled to.
But
under
that's
the
what I'm getting
CDPHP.
at,
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all for
Yeah.
policy change if it's for the right people and everything. But, is this trigger a policy change and they'll relook at us? Okay, well then, all right, so be it. But that's just where I'm standing at right now.
Yeah, I think that's the question that's being posed. It's not to pick an individual or any group of individuals to get a benefit. It's to say, hey, we just learned that there's a problem with our plan. Board members, do we want to consider changing our plan options or coming up with an alternative that might make sense, as we got a lot of residents that are becoming more mobile. They're not staying in New York. So it's more of a long-term
I
issue.
agree, we gotta do what's, like it says, again, let's not put the cart in front of the horse. If we need to do policy change, of course, we're gonna have a million policies, not a million, we're gonna have a lot, because there's gonna be new things coming at us in the near future that we just don't know yet. And so that's our job, is to execute and think it out, what's best for the citizens, residents of Malta. And I agree, if we could help pay for someone's medical, better on a retirement plan, I'm for that too.
Actually,
Yeah, it's a benefit
it's
she's
an
entitled to.
obligation, isn't it,
Yes.
Steve?
Yeah, we're obligated to pay, but we have plan options, and they were intended to
it
be
optional.
alternatives. But the way it works, it's not really an alternative because they just don't have the coverage.
Yeah.
Right, so rather than say, oh, well, we're gonna increase the coverage, which would be a very substantial amount, one of the proposals was to say, we get it, it's not ideal. As a board, we can't fix it entirely, but employees who are affected by this would be ineligible to a stipend. Kind of like the situation, and it's a little bit in reverse, but if you have an employee who's entitled to health insurance and they opt not to take it,
Right.
they get a benefit because it saves us money. In this case, it's like, well, if we had to redo the plan, it's going to cost us a lot of money. We don't want to do that. Is there another alternative that maybe the board wants to consider? So I think it's as we look at budget, as we look at all these things going forward, we're looking at salary increases, we're looking at retirees, we have to really, keep these things in mind, because over years, over time, to save the town money because of finances, the employees and retirees have an increased burden with respect to health insurance. So I think it's at this point, just to get the board aware of the issue and to start thinking about, and when Julia's here, we can get a little bit more into the dollars and cents. Say, hey, do we want to adopt a change to our retirement policy that makes financial sense or not, and helps our employees?
Anybody hangs out here long enough deserves a lot more than what they're getting. I can tell you
The
that.
other
I can tell you that.
also is,
Yeah.
by doing this, she can pick
She
and
can pick
find
whatever
her
plan she
own
wants,
plan
right.
and how much she wants to spend for a fixed plan.
Right, but if we go with that
don't do
fixed,
anything,
that
we'll be in
plan,
trouble.
it becomes a real administrative burden
Right.
for the town when you have a lot of employees, because we don't have a human resources staff, we don't have a department for that. So you're adding an administrative burden, which has a cost. And rather than add that cost, what Julia was suggesting is that the board consider a compromise situation that says, well, look, we can't undertake that, we don't have the expertise, we don't have the budget, but maybe we can
So
come
we
up
thought-
with something else.
We thought this might be a good solution, so.
I like
sounds
the idea.
Sounds like it's okay. This next one, we put it up because we all talked around in the office and we're like, what did we decide on that? I know that we discussed the receiver of taxes request to change the receiver of taxes position to an appointed position. The deadline for having that as a pot position on the November election is August 4th. But I just wanted to be clear, it was my recollection that we did not want to take that step, but then we kind of were not sure.
I know I didn't want
You want to leave it elected?
I wanted to leave it, I wanted to have the public have the most to say about what goes on in this town. So that's one way of making it happen.
To keep the receiver of taxes as an elected position?
Affirmative,
Huh?
yes.
Okay. Craig, you agree?
That's just me.
Considering everything, I kind of like the appointed position, considering the fact they got to run for office, there's an expense there's paperwork.
I mean, it is not a decision that we make. All the proposal would
Right,
be is that
is
we
to
can put
have
this
it on
as a
a
referendum
Referendum.
on the November ballot.
And the cost for that is
What's the
about,
cost?
There's no cost to put a referendum on the back of the ballot for the general election. If you were to have a
There's no cost.
special election, there would be a cost.
okay. I would favor
Town
to,
gets to vote?
Everybody gets to vote it would be in the general election. People could vote whether or not they want the.
Now that, I'll leave up to the people. I'll be in favor of that.
One of the complications with this is though, do we have till midnight on August 4th? Our meeting is August 4th. I don't know when you have to have the paperwork in.
I think
The deadline is August 4th. I'm sure if it was something that the town board passed a resolution on, I could certainly forward it to the Board of Elections that,
Right, but our meeting is on August 4th.
Correct.
So you could forward it that night. Okay. All right.
I'd say have the vote.
Do you agree, Barb? Any?
If it isn't costing us anything, then
Fair to assume that if it's on the ballot, that there has to be some explanation for the voters as to the
There will
pros
be
and
the
cons, or
right,
what?
Right.
Yeah, so
And the
they know what they're
proposition will
voting
be
on?
there, And
Yeah.
we can put out some public information about that it's, that it's there, so look for it.
I think it should remain an elected position. I can imagine a situation where it could get, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice here. I think it should remain an elected position. It's the kind of thing where, there could be mistrust by who's appointed. You're asking someone to evaluate your home and therefore the taxes you pay.
Well, no, that's the assessor's job. All it is
tax
is,
receiver.
all it is tax, receiver of taxes. The assessor decides what the assessment is.
Okay, this is just the
Just the
receiver.
receiver of taxes.
Okay.
And right now, it's a sort of a seasonal job. I mean, one of the things that we talked about when we talked about it before is if it's an appointed job, we have more oversight about what her hours could be, or him or her, what their hours could be and things like that, so.
I'm sorry, I misremembered that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll have that as a resolution next week, if that's the pleasure of the board. Next two should be fairly easy. The assessor's office wants to attend the annual conference in Lake George. That's October 6th through the 9th. And town clerk's attendance at the New York State Town Clerks Association Regional Training, September 21st and 22nd. So we will have resolutions for both of those next week. Saratoga Lake Protection Improvement District, SLIPID, as they are the agency that oversees Saratoga Lake. Saratoga Lake has a kind of unique ownership. Most bodies of water are owned by the, basically overseen by the state of New York, but the Saratoga Lake is not owned. Saratoga Lake is owned by the municipalities that surround it, based on the Cateros patent that happened many, many years ago. So anyway, SLIPID is the agency that oversees the protection of the lake. They are requesting that we enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the other lake towns, and that would be Stillwater, the town of Saratoga, the city of Saratoga Springs, and the town of Malta. We're all the ones that surround the lake. They would like to hire, and SLIPID, so between the five of us, hire a consultant to apply for a grant to study the feasibility of regulating docks on Saratoga Lake. There are a lot of complaints. There are, docks that are too long and docks that are too close to each other. And so I don't really know what the outcome of this would be. I don't know. One of the problems with any sort of regulation is who's going to do it. I mean, we don't have, the town of Malta doesn't have the manpower to do it.
Well, I think you just answered your own question, hiring a consultant to find out how many are there, how many are too close, how many are too long, how many are too short.
Yeah, I don't
All the
think-
above. There
yeah,
you go. There's your answer.
I don't think the feasibility study is actually that. I think it's a feasibility study to determine whether or not it's even possible.
And at
To regulate
the tail end of that, is there any kind of enforcement? If there's no enforcement, then
I think generally the plan would be that SLIPID would do the enforcement themselves.
do they have the authority to be going to each town property and?
They are.
Yeah, if the town gives them that authority, so. And I don't really know what the total, what the total outcome of this would be. They would look at the docks, look and see if there's really a problem, first of all. Just so you have all the information, it's the 5 agencies, the 4 towns and SLIPID. The fee for the grant application is $2,800. So whatever that is divided by 5 would be our cost for the grant.
What's the consultant looking for? That's the question.
Is that the consultant or?
That's the consultant fee,
$2,000?
at $2,800. The consultant fee to do the grant, so it costs the town of Malta $560 to actually have Tracy Clothier from Clothier Planning and Consulting. The task that she is going to propose, it's a grant from the Hudson River Valley Greenway Planning Grant Program, and it would be called Saratoga Lake Dock Management Feasibility Study. She'd meet with the municipalities, prepare maps, photographs, necessary graphics, obtain support letters and resolutions, develop a budget, obtain resolutions from 4 municipalities, and complete the narrative to the application. So she just basically applied for the grant.
So that's all it covers, is just $500 to go get the grant. They
To
may
apply for the
or may
grant.
not get the grant.
Exactly.
And if they get the grant, they do this study.
If they get the grant, we do the feasibility study. So,
What did the other towns think at this time?
well, when we
How did
met,
you do
we had a meeting with SLIPID and the other municipalities, and, Stillwater and Saratoga were gung ho.
They were.
Yeah,
That surprised
Yeah.
me.
yeah, me too. The city doesn't have a lot of lakefront. I mean, they were willing to go ahead, but, the vast majority of the shoreline of Saratoga Lake is the town of Malta. So I don't know about the
By
vast
far.
majority, half. I mean, we have the largest share. Stillwater,
Better wise, yeah.
yeah.
Usability, no.
I don't know. Again, I'm at the tail end of this story. Say my slippage, my dock is 20 feet too long, all right? And the consultant says that's 20 feet too long. Now, who's going to say, cut 10 feet off that slippage? And if I don't, they're going to get a saw and cut it off, or am I going to get
Well,
fined?
that's what the feasibility study, I think,
Yeah, that
would
would
decide.
encounter all the problems.
Aren't we
And who
changing?
knows, we might not get the grant anyway, so.
Isn't that people's property? Isn't it? I don't know. That's a rabbit hole I don't like.
Do you want to take a little time to think about it? You want to look over the materials?
So
The town of Boston, Boston,
right now. I just, to look at,
I think,
I don't like doing consultant studies to state the obvious, that all the docks are all different. We're talking about individual house docks going around the perimeter of the lake. And now we're going to regulate that to a certain size for
Well-
uniformity?
well, there's other stuff, there's other things, it's not just the size of the dock.
What's that other stuff that we're paying? Well, I don't,
There are places where people are renting spaces on their docks to other people, and they have, like the town of Saratoga is a regulation that you can only have 5 boats on your dock, and, I don't know how they regulate that. We have no regulations. People are putting them right along their property line, so they kind of interfere with somebody else putting their dock in. There's a lot of dock wars out there. And we get,
again, you're answering your own question. You already identified what the problems are. Who is the law enforcement agency on that lake? The sheriff's department?
Well, yeah, so
DEC.
for criminal, you have, for environmental, it's DEC, but docks are not regulated on that lake. So this would be a new regulation that apparently, if the study suggests it, that they would come up with a framework where each town would have a new regulatory authority, or either grant that authority to SLIPID to go ahead and enforce rules with respect to docks. So there currently isn't any overseeing agency. They've identified it as potentially a multi-town problem, and maybe there's a multi-town solution, so let's go spend some money. And if the study gets the grant, then they would say, these are the things that you need to do, which certainly is going to cost Malta money. But it's whether we think there's an issue that needs regulation on the lake that warrants the study. You're not committed to go forward with it at this time. It would just be to go forward with seeing if we can get the grant.
right. And, you can always decide if you get the grant. We don't have to accept it.
I'd say apply to the grant. Oh, we'll see what happens.
Listen, I think we've explained, listen, I think we got a law enforcement problem maybe, all right? or, property owners, problems, but I think you just told me what all the problems are, and I'm going to pay someone to tell us what the problems are. And you probably know more than what the problems are besides the guy knocking on the
Yeah,
door.
I really don't. I mean, there are certain problems. I think other towns have different problems than we do. It's, part of our shore is very, very densely populated.
And I agree, there's probably a lot more problems than I know.
Yeah.
But when the problem is identified, who has the authority for the corrective action? Otherwise, why look at the problem if you're not going to correct it? And what is that corrective force?
That might be something that's determined in the feasibility study too.
I think
Who's
we're
gonna do that?
stepping into a real problem if we get the grant and we try to implement some of their actions.
The implementation, though, would be a second step. The first is
Right.
to identify whether or
Yeah.
not there are problems. If there are problems, then the municipalities collectively could determine whether or not they want to address those problems. So it could cost nothing other than the $500.
Right.
We could trip over $500 to be part of the gang. But remember, we had this conversation when they report give the findings that we've determined what the problems are already. Shame on the guy who doesn't get the grant.
I also think you need to be prepared for residents to be like, what do you mean I can't use my dock?
Oh, yeah.
We're only asking 10 feet. Don't worry about it, right?
So, I mean, whatever the study is, I think it's going to be a hot topic for people that are paying a lot of taxes on the lake. So,
to taking people's
Well, we'll see where that goes, you know.
Start taxing the docks by the foot.
Next up, this is a rather complicated issue, but it is regarding a development, Lakeview Landing. We have some representatives from Malta Development here in case they want to actually help. Give you a little background of it. Lakeview Landing is a development that is on either side of 9P, sort of near Carson's. And this project has been being built for 14, 15 years. It's been a very long time. We had conditional approval for dedication for the roads. This, of course, allowed the town to plow the roads pending the final dedication. But it's been, 14, 15 years. They had a difficulty selling all of the homes because of its proximity to the racetrack, to the Albany Saratoga Speedway. You can imagine, might be a little loud there. The way our code is written, it says that all of the properties in the development need to have a certificate of occupancy before the final top coat can be applied and the dedication to the town is finalized. Another situation for this development is our road standards changed from the time that the development was started and to today. I don't know when that happened, but they got a lot more restricted. So in August of 2024, we met with representatives of the town. We had our engineering there. We had planning there. We had legal there. And then we had representatives from the developer to try to discuss a path forward. It's been years. This thing's been kicking down the can. We have minutes. You have minutes from that meeting. And this was not the first attempt to solve this. Supervisor Hammond actually held a similar meeting in October of 2023, and nothing really came forward from that. At this meeting, though, in August of 2024, several things were agreed upon between the town of Malta and the developer. Labella, our engineer, and Malta Development and the highway put together a punch list of items that needed to be repaired before winter. I have been told by our engineer that these items have been completed to the developers, to engineering satisfaction. And I actually got a report on Friday from our on-site inspector that said that everything would be completed by today. At the meeting, it was decided that Roger would include in his 284 agreement, make-ready work by Evolution Construction Services, our contractor. The estimated cost for this work is just short of $300,000. His 284 did not include that as an oversight, and of course, if we're going to do this work, it would need to be amended yet again. The comptroller has assured me that the highway fund balance has more than adequate funds to pay for this work. Now, keep in mind, highway fund balance can only be used for highway projects. So it's not a bunch of money we can use for anything else, but it's a bunch of money that we can use for roads. Once the make-ready is done, Malta Development will request a waiver from the town board, and then they'll apply the final coat, and then the road dedication can be complete. I also want to note that I received the updated letter of credit that was set to expire on June 25th, 2025. That's been renewed. And basically, Roger asked that I bring this to this board, to the town board for approval, before he requests the amended 284. It's kind of out of the normal procedure, but again, everyone in attendance agreed that if we don't meet some sort of compromise, we'll never move past this stalemate. I said the road standards were changed, so I'm requesting that the town board agree to allow Roger to amend his 284 to get the make-ready work completed.
I'm all for that.
Okay?
You want a resolution about it?
So,
We'll have an amended 284 is what will happen.
I'm a little confused. But then I've been confused tonight, so.
I'm right there.
there are problems with the roads that go back a few years?
Not necessarily problems, it's just that when the road dedication process, they do construction, and, of course, the construction vehicles are tough on roads. And this development has been, taken so long to build out that they didn't get to the final stage for, 14 or 15 years.
But I don't know why that's a problem for the town of Malta
Well, but it's,
and not for the developer.
well, I can,
Isn't it because they want to turn them over to the town?
wanna
and
turn
have
them over to the town of
over to the
Malta,
town
right.
in good shape?
and there were changes in the standards of the road, which were of no, fault to the developer. We changed the rules on them midway through. So that's been kind of part of why there's this stalemate between us and between our highway superintendent and the developer.
So how much are we short if we have to supplement this?
We're not, the total cost that was estimated is $291,680.
That we're
That we
responsible
would
for,
pay.
or the contractor?
That would be our portion that was agreed upon in this meeting between all of the interested parties, so.
Who agreed upon that?
It was a meeting that we had with, again, we
Everybody?
have to, everybody in the meeting did. Roger said he would update his 284 to include the make-ready work. And it
Roger.
was something recommended
Did you
by,
agree to that, or did you agree to the fact that
We-
you would do the work
we
if needed?
we have several,
Do the work if money came from
So,
other source.
so somebody still has to pay for it. Now, is it the taxpayers or is it the contractor?
it's money, and it beats town of Malta, so.
Taxpayer
Yeah.
money.
Well, I heard something earlier. It's like, how much surplus money does the highway department have?
Fund balance, a lot.
Well, can you round it up with some numbers?
I'm
Let's go back and forth. We'll bracket. What do you think we got? What do you think we got?
I'm reluctant to say, but, because I'm not 100% sure but it's millions. So,
Millions, you just said?
millions.
All right.
And unrestricted fund balance in the highway. Again, highway fund balance can't be used for anything other than,
I guarantee, not just me, but everybody out there gonna wanna know, is that a $1 million or $5 million?
without the comptroller here, like I say, I'm hesitant to say. I think I have an idea.
Well, that's the only thing that piqued my interest
I'm
so
going
far.
to let Mr. Samscott, if you can come up to the podium, please, and
Give us a little background here, Tommy.
I mean, got a problem. Either we pay or the contractor
Right.
pays. I'm more, we got $5 million in the bank. I'd like to know that.
I mean, he still has work to do because he'll have to put the top coat on all those roads, but yeah, go ahead.
My position was that, and based on the old regulations, that road would have been topped years ago, the town would have been maintaining it. Instead, things changed, they plowed, Roger took care of that, they didn't maintain anything. Came back and said they wanted me to do all this, and I said it wasn't fair, and we had several meetings with engineering, with legal, with Roger and us, Cynthia. And engineering came up with a punch list. And then we all got together again and decided who should pay for what. I agreed to pay for all the catch basin repairs, all of the drainage repairs that were necessary after all these years, which we have done. And then Roger was gonna take out the sections that he wanted removed and replace them on a spot-by-spot basis, working with the engineer, I believe. And when he was done, we were gonna top coat all of the roads. We all agreed to it. Roger, he said he didn't agree. He did agree. We all sat right
We
here at
have
this table.
three separate people in that meeting, took separate handwritten notes, and we generated
Minutes?
minutes. And you have those minutes.
I think you call it a 284 or
It's a
something.
284,
and he
yep. generated?
came up, that can be added to the 284 and it will not be a problem.
Well,
We all went out of there. I did all the work they asked me to do. Didn't question it. Mike Connor has inspected all of it, found a couple more things that he wanted done, and we went right in and did them. They were actually out there today. And we are ready to put the top course on as soon as their
How
work is
many
done.
more
I guess,
houses are getting added in there?
Well, that's the one good part about the delay. And that guy who came in here last year and said he was developing the Speedway, it caused almost every one of those lots to sell. So we no longer are gonna have that issue of not really being complete like the code would like. I believe 4 lots left, Wayne, that are not under contract. There's, still 10 under construction. It'll be finished up this year. So that issue went away for the most part.
I just don't understand. I'm not understanding a lot tonight, as I said, I'm sorry. But I thought when a developer took on a project, he or she was responsible for making sure that the roadways met current rules, regulations, codes, whatever. And that from that point on, the town took over the responsibility of plowing and repairing. This sounds very different from that. This sounds like they haven't been right, and now I want to know why Malta taxpayers have to pay money.
Well, they were right to the former standards.
Okay, but
The standards changed.
So they changed. I mean,
Well,
if I'm not buying a car for what I could have bought it 10 years ago, the price has changed. So I don't get it.
Well, if you bought the car and then they came back and said you owed 5,000 more, that's a change you wouldn't put up with. And this
Hey,
is
It
what I'm
doesn't seem
saying.
like anything I have ever heard a town or other municipality do is to finish a project that was privately developed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
I'm not asking them to do what I was required to do. I'm ready to put the top course down. And I did do all those repairs, which normally would have been normal town maintenance, but we did it.
I'm gonna have to,
Because you think you should just be able to put the top course on and
What would you consider the
the
reason why this project took 15 years and it's still not complete? What would be the cause of that?
Partially the Speedway and partially COVID.
But the Speedway has always been there. It's been there for 50 years when the
Yeah,
project
well,
was
it made
developed.
those hard lots to sell, and we knew they would be. Didn't realize they'd take that long.
So the cost and the longevity and the change of the code, I would think there'd be some bearing on, only because you're expecting the code or maybe nothing to change in 15 years. I don't know. It's still not done yet, right, though? I'm just curious why. I understand that the code can change, but, when did the code change? A couple of years ago, and we got a 15-year project going on. So I'm kind of agreeing with Barbara a little bit.
change all the time, too. I mean, housing codes and structural, electrical. You can't just stop it in time, I don't think, but.
but you already built the
fact
road to
is,
the former
is
standard.
One sentence that I saw in there is if these problems are not fixed, the top coat is gonna fail a lot faster. True? Okay.
I would agree.
Who's this engineer saying that we got to redo all this? What's his name?
Roger?
Town engineer.
Town engineer.
Joe Lenaro.
What's his name?
Joe Lenaro.
Joe Lenaro,
Yeah.
you're engineer. And his inspector, Mike Connor, is the guy who
I say
does-
things for the audiences sometimes.
And there was another man involved, Ruben,
Ruben,
from,
was he there too at that meeting? Yeah.
yes, he was.
Yeah, so
don't
this
know
has
his
been an
last name.
ongoing dispute for several years.
Yep.
Sounds like it.
There were, going back since I first got here, is how to deal with the subdivision that isn't complete in a timely fashion, because we don't fully, their obligation with the roads isn't finished, but Roger's already plowing out there and doing certain things. And the anticipation is that that's not gonna go on for a very long time. Because the longer it goes on, the more the roads deteriorate, other things need to be fixed. and it just continues to go. Our current plans, not just our highway standards, but even our subdivision approvals, don't contemplate this type of long, drawn-out project, very large subdivision with many, many homes. So the problem arose, there'd been much back and forth between both the town and Mr. Samuscott and his company. We had a meeting in August of 2024, and the framework to move this forward, which still required town board approval, was put into place. And Roger, if I'm mistaken, Rogers initially said, no, this isn't my responsibility to fix these roads. He's like, the fact that they've been deteriorated has nothing to do with the town of Malta. The engineers, and there's another, obviously, Mr. Samuscott has a different position with respect to it. In addition to the degradation of the roadway itself, there's other things that need repairs, culverts, other infrastructure-related items. Again, with a dispute, at least from each different side, as whose responsibility that was. So you have two items. You got the road, getting it ready to put the top coat on, whether that should be done now, because our code doesn't allow for it until all the units are transferred, and he's still got a few lots. Now, in the meantime, that's kind of going away. But that was the whole initial discussion, is we've got to do something different, because he's not selling these anytime soon, and just letting the roads get worse and worse and worse. He could say, I'm not doing anything, I'm not required to until, until the whole project is developed. And we could say, well, we're not going to issue any COs or any building permits. That wasn't a good solution. So based on the notes and the recollection, a plan was, and a framework was agreed to, that they would complete the work on the culverts and other infrastructure under the inspection of the town engineer. And the disagreement from Roger, his initial position is what he said tonight, was that he doesn't think that the town should have to do that. It's not their responsibility. In that meeting, my recollection is that no doubt that was Roger's position and he hasn't changed it. But in that meeting, we said, look, we want to resolve this. We want to move this project forward. Us calling a letter of credit, us fighting over this and doing all this is probably not going to be the best answer for the municipality or the developer. So what kind of agreement would make sense? With the advice of our engineer, this was the plan that came up with. So I'm not pointing fingers about whose memory is correct or is incorrect, but what we're trying to figure out is Roger said, well, fine. If I'm going to amend my 284, I want the board to be fully aware of why I'm asking to do that, not just in a budget transfer resolution. I want to have an open discussion so everyone's aware. There's unique factors that led to this. There's a dispute about whose responsibility the work was. And this, based upon our advice from our engineer, who we did request to be here, but didn't give him enough time. And we can get him here for the next meeting, but to give you more guidance. But that was Roger's way of saying, look, we've got to be accountable for our town funds. And I want the town board to be aware of it before I'm just going to say, let's spend money we can't do it any other way. And so that's where we're at. Mr. Samuscott, I hope that's a fair summary of why we're here tonight. I appreciate you coming tonight, but for the board, it's not our place to tell Roger how to, what to do with his roads. But we also want to resolve the issue. We want to get the roads complete, and we don't want to be back here in another year with more deterioration, degradation, and still in the situation we're in now. So that's the best I can do in summarizing it.
Can you give me an example of any other building development project where the town has had to pitch in like this? With give me the figure, the money again. How much is that?
It's approximately $291,000.
500,
291.
291,000.
That the town would have to supplement.
Correct. That we would request an amendment to the 28. Roger would request an amendment to the 284, and that highway fund balance would be used to complete that work
Okay, when-
Evolution contractor would do.
have we ever done, has the town of Malta ever done anything like this before?
I'm certain we've had disputes with developers and other projects that's resulted in us either settling or compromising to complete work. I think Roger or Planning Department could better answer that question than me. But I'm certain that although it's not a common practice, there's times where disagreements occur, and rather than go out and bid a whole new job, we get a compromise that says, well, Highway can do some of this work.
This isn't just a compromise, it's spending a lot of money.
Okay, then don't vote for it. I'm just explaining you the problem.
Yeah, it's,
It's fine. Then, you know, yeah, it's a lot of money. No one's suggesting it's not a lot of money. It's the purpose of this is so that you have the information to make your decision, not to tell you what to do. I'm not suggesting you vote for it or side with it or do whatever. You can hear from your engineer. You can hear from your comptroller. You can hear from your highway superintendent, and you've heard from Mr. Samuscott, and then you can make your decision, because none of it's going to happen if Roger doesn't authorize it and the town board doesn't authorize it. So that's the purpose of the meeting or the discussion tonight, is so that everyone's fully informed. It's not a happenstance. It just didn't occur in 1 year. This has been building for many years, and we attempted to come to a framework to move it forward, and now we're at that point. The work isn't done. Mr. Samuscott can't do any other work until this work is done, and if the town's position is, you know, going to be that their town's not paying for it, then he needs to know that, and, you know, it's unfortunate, but we'll see where it goes.
So you have contracts on all but 4 lots at this time, Tommy?
Yeah, either contracted or already built and sold. So there's four.
How many, how many,
lots.
how many units are back there altogether?
Say again?
How many units are back there altogether? You said there's
160.
160.
So you anticipate selling all of them off within the next, what, 2 years?
Who knows?
1 year?
Hopefully 2 months, but who knows? The market is definitely slowing down, but, you know, we still have some
Interest
interest.
rates are so great, you know?
Yeah, that didn't help.
This has been something that's been discussed and kicked down the can for years. Like I say, former supervisor tried to settle it. I think it was, you know, former supervisors before. And we're at a stalemate, and I think at some point, something's got to give.
Yeah, I definitely
we
like,
We're going to go
wanted
through
to-
another winter, and they're just going to get worse.
Yeah, the way I kind of came upon this, we were gonna do the top course a long time ago.
Right.
And was told we couldn't. I mean, I've been doing this for 37 years, and I've never done a subdivision where I
Who
was
told
told
you you
I
couldn't?
couldn't finish the roads.
who told you that?
Roger. It took me by surprise. We'd have been done. We'd have been, you know, town would have had the roads. I mean, the
And
town's
Roger,
been
why was that?
collecting the
Because the
taxes
roads
on it
were
for many,
deteriorated
many
and you
years.
didn't want to accept it?
But it was a surprise to me.
The engineer, right.
I think I gotta call the engineer.
So Joe recommended shut it down.
Well, Joe, I think, yeah, Joe was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Mike Connors was more an influence, he's the head inspector.
We didn't say
Both
shut
from our
it down.
engineer.
Called the shots on that.
He gave us a punch list, and we agreed who's doing what. We
Well,
did our part.
Like he says, we're discussing it, we're hearing it for the first time, a lot of us, and we need to get more discussion and more facts, and I love slinging bow and arrows, you know,
Yeah.
bing, but we got to get more,
Well, another thing to consider is time is sort of also of the essence.
no, we got to get a resolution. We got to fix
Right.
it. We're missing a lot of pieces here, just Mike's report, Joe's report, you know.
I'll give you my printed copy of the minutes from that meeting, so you take that, you can peruse them.
The second piece for the board is that the board would also have to waive the requirement,
Right.
which we're authorized to do with respect to the sale of all the homes. So if the board does get over the hurdle of who's spending the money, the second thing is the board has to be willing to do is to waive requirements of our code on road dedications. and completion of the top coat. would be
And
good.
plus, I would encourage you to call Julia and ask her about the money aspect of it. She did assure me that she had absolutely no concerns about taking that money out of the unrestricted highway fund balance, which is substantial.
Could the engineer be at the next meeting when this is
I can ask him.
discussed?
Well, as town board members, our first obligation is towards the town and their
I'm not gonna write on
finances.
this, but can I get a
That's
copy
our
of this?
first,
You can have it.
number one thing.
I can print another one.
So I think we have some real hard thinking to do.
Anything else? I mean, I'll probably put it on the agenda to talk about again next week, so hopefully you'll take time to read through the minutes and talk to whoever you need to talk to.
This is Mr. Sam Scott, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Sam Scott, how's the water system coming?
Getting close.
Brownell Road, getting close.
The only thing missing now is the work permit from DOT. They got everything they asked for on June 26th. We're waiting. We got the use and occupancy permit, Department of Health signed and stamped plans a little over a week ago. I know my engineer asked, I believe it was Floria, how many sets the town wanted. That was handled. We're ready to go. We're just waiting, not believing that it would take this long.
Does the town have a financial role in that project?
No,
No.
nobody but me.
So this is as far as, I haven't heard anybody tell me that this has happened, anything like this, before.
I mean, I don't,
Well, there's been cases where guys just didn't do the work.
Right.
Town has to go in and finish it.
right, there have been cases where they've walked away.
Yes. I'm not gonna walk away. I just think, based on the circumstances, the sharing of the costs, with my cost is still much greater than the town's cost, but we all agreed to it. And I'm ready to go whenever this gets worked out.
So what was the final solution on that? Is to bring water in from where?
We are now connecting to the town of Clifton Park. In the parking lot of the Stewarts, they have a pump station there. I bought the corner across the street from it so we could get the line. The state wouldn't let us go anywhere near their planned roundabout. So I had to buy that corner so I could get outside of the roundabout, which I did. Now everybody's approved the plan. We're just waiting for the permit to do the work in the state right away, the crossing of the state right away. Yeah, they said if I went underneath where the roundabout went, that they'd make me take it back out when they were ready and move, so.
And who's sharing that cost?
I'm paying for it. Stein has agreed to pay 50% of the cost of the line because he's connecting to the water.
He is?
Yep, we'll be supplying the water to the Stein project.
So that Stein property is gonna add in how many other?
I think he has 144 apartments, and then there's some retail, office, commercial, whatever he ends up putting in.
So that Stein property has a green light then?
They're fully approved,
Okay,
just waiting on a water.
right.
Yeah, the fact that he's sharing the cost and the additional customers allows us to do it, which we didn't know until we get this far, but we'll be doing it without going for any rate increase to the customers.
How is that water
That's
going
nice.
towards exit 12 also?
No.
After-
No, what's gonna happen is we have to put a meter pit on the south side of Route 67.
Okay.
And before that meter, there's gonna be a T pointed east. Clifton Park hopes to, over time, extend their line down the south side of Route 67 and make a tie-in to the line that comes out of State Farm so that they have a loop.
Gotcha.
So we're providing the way that they can do it.
I had
and,
heard that, but
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything since then.
Yeah, they will own all of the water line until it hit, I'll turn it over to them, until it hits the meter pit. next to Route 67 that we're gonna put in. And from there will be my water line. The meter will be for them so they can charge me.
Let's not get into site plans here, though. We'll be here all night, right?
Right.
What's next, Cynthia?
Well,
Thank you.
You know what? I don't get any other information anywhere else, so I gotta ask here.
Call me.
And
We've
so,
talked
like I
about water
say,
in the
I
past.
will.
We've talked about water in the past on Van Arnhem.
A lot of hours.
on the committee.
Tommy.
We all good?
yeah, like I say, I'll put
When
it
is
on
the
again
next
week.
meeting?
Next Monday, August 4th.
Okay. I thought it'd be the end of August, Monday the 4th. Let me know if you're gonna be able to get people here.
Well, yeah, I will. Yeah. All right, next up, zoning update. As you know, we're going through the process of trying to update our zoning based on recommendations from the comprehensive plan. We met with a consultant last week to, the goal was to have everybody doing their pieces to be done by August 1st. I think we're pretty close to that. The planning has reviewed the entire changes to Chapter 167 and have some recommendations. The consultant is going to be working on, solar and battery storage and chickens. And then Floria is working on the changes that we were recommending to the form-based code. So we're proposing 3 workshops. One is, hopefully these dates work. Let me know. Melissa will send out something tomorrow. We'll see where we are with them. We're proposing a workshop regarding PDDs, solar and battery storage and chickens, Wednesday, August 20th at 4 p.m. A workshop regarding the entire Chapter 167, which is basically all of those zoning changes that we talked about in all those workshops, except for the form-based code. So it's everything else but the form-based code, on Wednesday, August 27th at 4 p.m. And then a given form-based code, its own little workshop all by itself, which would be Wednesday, September 4th at 4 p.m. Like I say, Melissa will send out a, meeting request to see if we're available, if you're available. So basically, the plan is to hopefully really have our, everything buttoned up after those workshops. We then, of course, will have to have another public information session. So invite the public to review. And then we will have we have to have a public hearing. It has to be referred to the Saratoga County Planning. They're going to want a little extra time because it's a lot. So whenever we feel like we really have this done, we'll set those.
Did you address item 12 yet, or?
What, my numbers are screwed up on my agenda, so hang on.
Demolition of
Oh, no, did I skip that?
110?
Oh, yeah, I skipped
7th
that.
Street?
Sorry, I skipped that, because I had the grant application marked off. Yeah, we did, we went out for some bids for the demolition of the final building that is on our lakefront property. We got 3 bids. The low bid is Dan's Hauling and Demo for $28,800. I had a resident that I think he left that said they were a fantastic group. He used them and cleaned it all up and everything, so.
I'm going to be voting no on that,
Yeah.
because I still haven't heard from an engineer. I've called Joe on it, and he said he would get back,
Well,
to me, and he hasn't.
Well, one thing is, I think, based on Al's remarks the last time we talked about it, I believe there are 3 of us here that agree that it should be demolished, so
The other
I'm
thing
unwilling
is-
really to
is
spend more
we
engineering
still
money.
have no plan for that park.
We're still.
You might have a plan,
I don't have any
but we
plan.
don't have a committee yet. We haven't heard.
Craig, at this point, we're just trying to clean it up. It's not,
Oh.
there's no plan for anything other than cleaning it up and putting some picnic tables down there.
I was approached by somebody the other day that's actually interested in renting that house or buying it, and has even offered to rehab it.
Well, we can't sell it because it's parkland, so there's that.
Is that house a park though?
Yes.
Ask for $20 million.
How about the dollhouse?
We
We'll
did
take
that.
$20 million.
The dollhouse was purchased in a separate transaction. It was not
It was a, s-
parkland. Right,
it was a separate deed.
right. That was all purchased as part of the
Right, we
park,
were-
so.
We know how to spend money lately, don't we? Really do.
Well, like I say, if we have 3 votes for the demolition, I really don't see the point in hiring an engineer to evaluate
I
it.
asked earlier to have an engineer review it. I got poo-pooed upon because I haven't seen it. I called the engineer myself and I got the whole story of it. As a matter of fact, Mark, what were you told about that house when you were supervisor? Please stand up here, please. Introduce yourself.
Are you limping or you just been sitting in that chair too long?
We're live. Mark Hammond, Maltridge. Okay, to your question, Craig, to back up, right at the very beginning, when we purchased the Saratoga Lake property, former Angino's Restaurant, also to your point, we didn't really have a plan at the time. In my term, we only owned that property for 3 months. It took a long time to get that finally closed on. But to the point, we wanted to not go crazy down there. We wanted to get rid of, as Cynthia said, clean it up. That was step one. We had a lot of cleaning up to do. So we wanted to do that. We wanted any and all buildings, debris, everything that had to be to go and get rid of it. And without having really a plan, because I was informed through both the LA group and through Joe Lanero himself with his group, CT Mail, not to go crazy with what we were going to do because we didn't know what we were going to do down there. So don't go wiping everything clean, but just get rid of the things that are bad. The Mangino home was deemed structurally sound. Actually, the gazebo was deemed structurally sound as well. That's why that was left, and they actually surgically demoed around that because we kind of sort of had plans about trying to hang on to what we could, a piece of the past of Mangino's. But the house that was on the lake, obviously that was all dilapidated, falling apart. The restaurant proper also falling apart. So those things went. But anything that was structurally sound was left behind in the first demo. Now, there was subsequent demos after that. Removed the gazebo. There was an outbuilding along the side that went. But
Can
the
I
home
ask
itself,
Who certified that?
pardon me,
Who certified that?
that was the engineer that said what was,
A licensed engineer, right?
Mhm.
From
Right, because-
Labella and the other guy, right?
right, because we didn't want to go down there and just say, well, we'd like to keep this, we'd like to keep that, if some of those things we wanted to keep weren't worth keeping and they weren't structurally sound. So I actually walked the site with the engineer at the time and said, this is good, that's bad, and so on. So it was just a checklist. So the house was certainly deemed structurally sound, and we actually had talked with Slipid at the time.
Yep.
One of the ideas was to let them utilize that structure because they don't have their own home base, so to speak. They don't have their own office building. So they were going to use that, and in return, they were kind of going to look out over the grounds. There's going to be a presence there. So it was going to work to our benefit to have someone actually on the site. So, but that's neither here nor there. But there were some things we kicked around ideas. Now I know there's been questions about the ADA. Again, because we didn't have a whole lot of time under my administration to actually go through and look at all these things. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't look at because we didn't want to be hasty when we did demo work. So if there were things that were left behind after the first demo that left, that's beyond me. So maybe people have different ideas. But the home itself, no. Again, to your question, it was deemed structurally sound.
Now, at this point, who has deemed it demolishable at this point.
Pretty
You
much-
and
Pretty much
who else?
anybody that's been in that building in the past year and a half, probably. It's been
Who is it?
vacant. You know, our facilities manager, our Parks and Rec director, me, building and planning has been in there. I mean, anybody that goes in there.
How about Terry?
Yeah, he would be our facilities
So
manager,
our
so.
landscapers all of a sudden a structural engineer?
Craig, that is very insulting to our
I'm
facility. He's our facilities
You made the
manager.
decision to bring him in there. You made the decision to take it down, and you know what? They're not qualified people. Is there mold in there? Yeah, they are. We closed it up for how long? 2 years? Almost? You're gonna have mold. If you wanna spend the money of taxpayers to take it down, and it was voted on, 1, 2, 3. I'm fine with it. I said no.
Okay, it will be a resolution next week, and you
Yep.
can vote no, and we'll see.
You already
Here we
voted.
go.
Could I suggest, just for the record, that we adhere to the ground rules
Yeah.
that the board had
Yeah.
agreed to? Sorry, I-
No, I'm just,
I,
if you want to spend town taxpayers' money that way, without having a plan, without having a committee, going ahead and making that decision, you three own it.
okay, moving on.
Moving on.
I also do want to reiterate that our facilities manager is a whole lot more than a landscaper.
I
And
know
it's-
Terry
and it's-
very well
and
and
it's
what he does
insulting.
and his whole crew.
It's insulting for you to sit up here in public and call him names, so.
Wasn't a name, he's not qualified for it. That's all.
Anyway, just a little update for Emergency Management Committee meeting. We are in the process of reviewing a draft community emergency, or the comprehensive emergency management plan. Rick Handley did a lot of work on it, so we'll be reviewing that at our next meeting, and hopefully it's tailoring it down. I actually might share it with you, Al, if you'd take a look at it also.
What's that?
Our comprehensive emergency management plan, it's only like 15 pages.
No, I have not.
I think I'll share that with you.
More to read, more to merrier, yes.
So, there's that,
I might read that at the park,
yeah,
down by the lake,
When-
on the bench.
we get a picnic table down there.
And I'll dip my big toe in the water.
Also, we have the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office will be doing an active shooter training here for all of our staff in the town. Something that's been done in the past, but not for a really long time. We, next week, will be appointing a new member to replace senior investigator Andrew Warner, who retired from the New York State Police. We will be appointing Sergeant LaBelle, who they sent to us as a replacement. You have before you this shell card. We're not sharing it with the public because it's basically what to do in the event of an emergency. These will be placed in all of the town offices, all the rooms in town. You can't keep your laminated copy, but it's for your perusal. Then we want them back, so don't take them with you. I think that's it. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions on Emergency Management Committee update? With that, if anybody else in the public wants to speak,
Keep it brief. Hi, my name is Alex Friedman, Ruley Road South, taxpayer and civil engineer. To your point, Craig, I need to reiterate that you can demo a property if it's deemed structurally sound. There are more than one reason to demo one, and as a taxpayer of this town, I think it's money well spent. So that's it. That's my piece.
thank you, Alex.
More to come.
I forgot why I was walking up here. But if you want me to drive over it and drop it by, for free, I'll
About
go
your
do it.
speeding,
I remember now.
your speeding request, right? Didn't you want to mention that?
No, I said I'll go down there and take that house out free if you want with my truck. The beater that I got, for free. If you want. But that's not why I came up here. I came up here to see if there's anybody in this town of this kind of, to get a smart job. Because I can't use my hands and my neck and my arms and stuff, and I'm looking for a job. So is there a smart job up here that's available?
A job?
Yeah, a smart job in this building.
And not right now, I don't think so.
You know, like a
but-
job for smart people. I'm not a smart person, but I am a quick learner. And I need a job. But I don't want one that you have to kill yourself with because my hands and my arms and my neck don't work good. And I was being serious. If you have a job here, is there a job here?
Hey, nothing available right now that I know of.
Or you guys were hiring things before, that's all I was asking. But you can
Are
have me
jobs
for free on the
posted
link.
on our Malta webpage?
You have a job, what?
Keep looking at the Malta webpage, they're posted on
For
the.
this place?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And you'll see it, like, equipment operators always on it.
Malta something.gov, Malta,
Right, yeah, right now it's malta-town.org.
okay.
Angela,
When
did
does
you,
it turn to the .gov?
August 15th.
It'll
Oh, I'll
pop,
wait till after August, thank you.
gee, I wonder what she wants to talk about.
Oh, good Lord. I'm from Avondale, Angela Menkler. I've been here a few times, and I was sitting in my living room a little while ago as I sit there listening to the generator that's still running. I want an update on what is going on 50 feet from my house. I can't stand it much longer. The dirt, the dust is disgusting. The water, they've dug the hole. It fills with water. They come back, they blow it out. What are they doing? What is going on? This road, when I met with Luke Michaels back in March, I think it was, he said that by May or June it would be paved. That road is nowhere near being ready to be paved, and this is becoming quite a nuisance to me.
Yeah,
Our whole neighborhood as well,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, I want to know, why is there a generator running right now at 8 o'clock, and it's going to run all night? Not supposed to. The town of Malta, construction ordinances, 7 to 9 PM.
Yeah, I.
How are
have
they
no
getting away
idea.
with what they're doing?
Do you have any idea what the generator's powering?
Probably the pump that's got the water,
Pumping
coming
out.
pumping out the hole. I mean, it was wetlands. I don't know what they were thinking in the first place. Why did they have to put this road is beyond me. I can't even fight it anymore, but I want to know what the progress is, where we're at right now. Does anybody really know what's going on over there?
I don't. Like I say, I haven't followed up since the last time. I thought we were moving
Roger?
along, so I'll reach out to Mike Connors tomorrow and find out.
Well, I don't want to be giving people a hard time, but I really want to know what's going on. Enough of this bull.
Yeah.
And don't even think about giving me a hard time about putting an emergency gate up, because this is ridiculous. People are coming back and forth. I had to put private signs on my private property to keep people out. It's just becoming annoying. I had to go to the doctor's last week because my stress is getting so high from this, and it is strictly from this. Go to sleep at night, you wake up. I can't use my backyard now from Monday through Friday because of all the dust and dirt. I have a pool I haven't been able to get in. Luckily have a daughter that's around the corner. I can go to her house. But I mean, this is a nuisance. And nobody seems to be doing anything.
Yeah,
Nobody seems to know what they're doing. They're all walking around. They come down with their dozers and they're going very fast. And I mean, the ground has been very dry. So the dust that they're stirring up is incredible. I got to go out. Anyways, I could go on, and I'm not gonna, but I'd
I'll
like
s-
an update.
I'll see what I can find out tomorrow for you and be in touch.
Just really wanted to voice
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
legitimate complaint. Enough is
No,
enough.
I hear you. I'm kind of appalled that it's been taking this long.
I mean, this is the
Yeah.
town road. Somebody at the
Yeah.
town should be knowing what's going
Yeah.
on here, right?
you own the house on the side of the bottom exit, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, 43 Avondale Drive.
I drove by there the other day, and they don't seem to be making that much progress.
No.
I don't know how come. I've
Well, I think the
walked in there
problem is-
about 2 months ago, and it really doesn't seem to be getting any, I mean,
The problem is the water level. The water
Almost
table is so
stands.
high. I don't know what they think they're gonna do.
well,
Oxymoron, right? There's a water problem, but yet we're in a little bit of a drought for the whole month,
Yeah.
and we got standing water. So, I mean, you know me, I was against this from the get-go.
Yeah.
This is
Well, I mean,
horrible.
it would have been great if he stayed on his side, but he had to come through, and he had to put the road, the town wanted a road to connect us. We fought it, we got the emergency access, so I don't really know what that road's gonna be good for, other than emergency. But they could have done that up at the top. They didn't have to do this kind of, what they're doing down here, it's just disgusting. I don't know if anybody really knows what they're doing, to be honest.
I'll see if I can get you an update
Thanks, and
tomorrow.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's all right.
waste
You,
everybody's
you,
time.
you might have missed the first part of our meeting when we're waiting on 15 years for a road right now to get
Oh,
fixed.
Jesus,
Just
good
so,
Lord.
make you feel better if someone's promising you a month or two.
Oh, my gosh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Hey, no, that's fine. I sympathize with you. So,
All I can smell is diesel.
yeah.
I mean, come on, it's 90 out.
Yeah, we got rid of that gas tank and now you got a generator. It's like, yeah. Anybody else? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? You say second?
I was going to object, but I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any
Nay.
opposed? Honestly. Hey, I want these back.
I changed my vote to yay, Jen.
Mr. Ricky,
Oh.
I want this back. Craig?